everybody, and welcome to our live lecture. And hopefully we're going to post it so all of you can see it. Anyway, we are in Parashat Beha'alotcha, and Beha'alotcha means to elevate. You know, it's a Beha'alotcha et Nerot. When you look at Rashi, you look at the commentary, you know, it seemed like Aaron was a bit insulted why he was not included with the Nesi'im, the portion before. So God told Moses that Aaron will be even more respected than the portion before. It's to teach us the beauty of working with God. You know, God is like a force that teaching us, and I don't want to make sure that you think God is a human being. It's a force that activated by being humble. It's not that if you be humble that God watch you and then he give you a gift and candy. It's a force that when you're humble, it tunes into your soul. Aaron being humble, that's why they gave him a job, להדליק את המנורה. To light the menorah. You know, what is the menorah? Light. You get more light, you get more candle. You know, that's light of the menorah. But what is hidden, this whole idea of God have to tell Moses to do that? For that reason, I have the privilege by my friend Jeremy, who live in Eretz Israel. He was a student of the Rabash. Rabash was the son of Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, Baal HaSulam. So he sent me this section about Beha'alotcha, and the Rabash saying, Pirush Rashi, Beha'alotcha et Nerot, Pirush Rashi, על שם שעליו עולה, כתוב בהדלקתן לשון עלייה. Rashi is basically asked question and it's not there. Why you said Beha'alotcha when you elevate the candle? You should say Behaalotecha, you know, Behaalotecha. When you light it, not when you elevate it. So Rashi say because the lava, the flame is aliyah, it's going up. But of course, there is a meaning to Rashi. Rashi was deep. And then the verse continue, El mul pnei menorah ya'iru. A front of the menorah, a front of the candelabra, they will shine. From here we understand that the 7 candles shine in front of the menorah. So we need to understand, what does that mean, lighting the menorah? And it's a good section. Those of you who want to remember, use that section for Hanukkah. It's a very important section. You can remind me, remind yourself to read this section for Hanukkah. הנה כתוב, it's written, Ner mitzvah v'Torah or. Ner is a mitzvah, and Torah is the or. הגוף נקרא בחינת נר. The body is the candle. שצריכים להדליק אותו, שיעיר. You have to light the candle to shine. How do you light the candle? Ask the Rabash. על ידי התורה. By study Torah you light the candle. היינו, הגוף רצון לקבל לעצמו. The goof itself is a selfish body. It's רצון לקבל לעצמו, desire to receive only for itself. ועליו היה צמצום. Where was the tzimtzum take place? I know it's a little deep for some of you. Where was the tzimtzum take place? And I'm sorry if it's deep, but you have to catch up with me on different studies so you understand what tzimtzum is. Where was the tzimtzum take place? On the body. On the body, not on the soul. The tzimtzum is on the body. Actually, it doesn't make sense. Because the body is being buried. Tzimtzum cannot be done on something that's been buried. So, the goof represents something which is not physical. What is the body? What is the goof represent? Desire to receive. The desire to receive was the only thing that Tzimtzum take place there. That's what I should say. The tzimtzum happened, the contraction, the restriction happened only on the selfish aspect of our existence. שאין האור מאיר לנקודה זו. The light will not shine to a selfish behavior. ונקודה זו נקראת יצר הרע. This, that, call יצר הרע. Evil inclination. Even we know that Baal HaSulam, his father, is to say that there is no Yetzer Hara and Yetzer Tov. There's one Yetzer. The desire you choose, define if it will be Yetzer Ra or Yetzer Tov. Good inclination or bad inclination. רק על ידי מאור התורה, רק, use the word רק, don't forget, רק. Only through the shine of the Torah, יכולים להחזירו למוטב, שזה נקרא הטבת הנרות. Only to the light of the menorah, you can actually bring the body or the desire to receive to become good. And that's what it's called הטבת הנרות, lighting of the menorah, or הטבת הנרות, to make the candle good. ואז שמתקנים את הכלים של קבלה, when you fix the vessel of receiving, יש מקום לאור השם. There is a room where the light of God will shine. שיאיר בתוך הגוף. Then the light can shine not only in your desire, it will shine in your body. ואז נקרא הגוף מנורה. Then the body will call מנורה, candelabra. והגוף נברא עם זין מידות. The body have 7 aspects to it. חגת נעים, the קדושה. What is חגת נעים? חסד גבורה תפארת נצח הוד יסוד. How do you change the חסד? So you go to the book תאמר דבורה by Rabbi Moshe Cordovero. Famous. In that book it say איך עושים חסד? How do you become חסד? עיקר כניסת האדם אל סוד החסד הוא לאהוב את השם תכלית האהבה. Is to love the Creator 100%. And if he loves the Creator 100%, he gives tzedakah. He gives charity. When you give charity, then through that, everything open up in chesed. The sphere of chesed is being activated. The candle of chesed being activated. Achnasat orchim, welcoming people to your home. Okay? Bury the dead people. It's also chesed. לעשות chesed עם המת. To feed family who are in Shiva. To make sure that you're feeding them. Debbie and me are thinking about opening a company that help people with doing the Shiva. So if you have any idea. Achnasat kala lechupa. If you're helping with weddings. Okay? Avat shalom ben adam lechadro. And bring peace between two people. This is all chesed. What is gvura? How do you light the candle of gvura? It's very important to read it, by the way. Again, I repeat. Chanukah. Please remind me and remind yourself. What is גבורה? דע כי כל פעולות התעוררות יצר הרע הן ממש מאורות הגבורות, החזקות. לכך לא יתדונה על יצרה שלא יעורר גבורה. So, what is the idea of גבורה? Okay? The גבורה is התגברות. And what do you do to activate the candle of גבורה? To stay away חמדה, from coveting. Coveting. Not to have coveting, not to have anger. So it's all the not. What is tiferet, the third candle? Study of Torah. Without gava, without ego. That's tiferet. And if you teach Torah and you have ego on your student, no good. If you teach Torah and you're smart in Torah and you make fun of poor people, very dangerous. So no ego. The first is no ego and study Torah. What do you do with Netzach, Od, Yesod? 3 of them. Netzach and Od is to help people study Torah and teach Torah, to give the money to continue. So they will never stop. Because they are the leg, they are the foundation. Another thing about Netzach and Od, to study from all people who know better than you. Don't to be ashamed. Go study from them. If you're a rabbi or a teacher or a scholar, sit with the people. Go to synagogue. Be part of them. Yesod is to be careful how you speak. Not just sexuality, how you speak. That's Yesod. So the candle of Yesod, which is the 6th candle, is nivlut apeh. Very dangerous, how you speak. And of course, not to damage the sexual organ as well. That's the 6th candle. The 7th candle is called Malchut. Not to have ego for what he has. And always think of yourself as a poor person. And always when you pray, pray as poor person. If he's rich, what to do? He has to sit with himself daily and say that tzarich lerachmea boreh tamid. That he doesn't even have a penny without God. Just the bread. Not to forget. So that's a very important, and I recommend all of you to read it, Tomat Dvorah. The whole book is a great book from the Ramak. Somehow I feel connected to the Ramak, Rabbi Yusha Cordovero. What can I say about him? I mean, somebody who was a student like Rabbi Eliyahu Davidash, who wrote Reshit Chochmah, you need to know who he was. And somebody who's willing to be buried below the Ari, next to the Ari, you need to know who he was. So just to understand. So this is the candle we're supposed to light this week. 7 candles. Okay? So, in the 7th candle, you also have 7 enemies of the candle, say the Rabash. So what do we do? Well, in life there is aliyot ve'yiridot. You're going up, you're going down. That's the way it is. That's why Behaalotecha, when you go up, on the way up, because kol פעם צריכים להדליק, you light again. עד שתהיה שלבת עולה מעליה. As Rashi said, until the flame catch. מה זה flame catch? היינו שכבר לא צריכים להתגברות. You not need to overcome anything. When that happened, וזהו לאחר שאדם זוכה לאמונה בקביעות. There is אמונה שלא בקביעות. אמונה בקביעות is certainty that stay, that last. There is certainty that's for the moment. It's good. 2 days, 2 months, 5 years. But when a problem happens, health issue, relationship issue, money issue, then the emunah fall apart. So, until the emunah has not become emunah bekviut, a last certainty, you have to be overcome every time and light the candle again. That's what means lighting the candle. What does that mean? El mul pnei menorah, in front of the candelabra. Everything has panim ve'achor. Everything has face and back. Meaning, dalif lemi ata omed. Know who you're standing in front. So when you light the candle, when you do the 7 levels of work on yourself, the candelabra, make sure you're doing it in the name of God. Because you might be spiritual in the name of something, but it's not going to be in the name of God. And many people practice the spirituality, but while they practice the spirituality, it is them with themselves. It's not been evolved on them with the creator in the system. And I'm not sure I explain it well to you, but I want to make sure it's clear. I meet many people who work on themselves. You can work on yourself. You can work on your ego and even make it. But the idea is to work on yourself through the Torah, through the mitzvot, through the maasim tovim. There is rules to the game. Those rules are written in the Torah, in the Talmud, in the Zohar. Mostly in the Talmud and the Torah. If you want to know the why and the meaning of what's going on, then you have to study Kabbalah and Zohar. But if you just want to do it, Talmud is enough. Shulchan Aruch is enough. Mishnah is enough. What about if you're going to a great speaker? Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, that's good. But that's not the way to get you into your mission. Your mission is to work on your soul. Your mission is not to be successful in what you try to do here. If you have fear of talking in public and you go to Tony Robbins and he fixes it for you, good. But that was not your mission. That's just you overcome a certain fear. What is your mission? Well, your mission is to connect to the Creator through the path that you're leaning on. Some of us destined to be poor. By being poor, they have to connect to God. Some of us meant to be very rich, and we're supposed to connect to God. What is more tough? It seemed poor, right? Well, for some reason, King David say, "Velo netashtani kol yemei idanai." King David say, "You never left me on the days that I did well." King David said that. Meaning, when King David did so well, he was worried. What if I forget? I'm worried. When your life going well, you have to worry about it. You sit on a first class in an airplane, you best hotel, best food, you start falling into the body consciousness, and that time it's a problem. Now, from Tony Robbins, about it might be a great thing. I'm not speaking bad about Tony. I'm just using Tony as a greatest public speaker ever heard. I ever heard. So I'm sorry if it's like I sound like I'm speaking bad, but that's not my purpose here. I think a lot of people should do these courses, that been offered out there. But I don't want you to see it as your spiritual journey, because it's not your spiritual journey. It's a support for a journey on this life. So I want to make sure it's clear. I'm not against Tony or against anybody who create great lecture. I myself listen to him. I myself listen to Dr. Wayne Dyer. I myself listen to Les Brown. I myself listen to Zig Ziglar. I listen to all of them. It's wonderful. But I see sometimes that some of my students think that if they understood some wisdom about how to build their life here, they got it spiritually. They didn't get it at all, because there's different rules in the game, and that game has to be played. And it's not a problem to be a follower of a public speaker. Actually, it's amazing, and I highly recommend it. You should do it. So that's what the Rabash, that's about Beha'alotcha. I want to move now to another subject, the manna. What is the manna? When we look at the manna, we look at the food lechem min hashamayim. Shamayim means Ze'er Anpin. Ze'er Anpin meaning the totality, the tree of life. The Israelites receive food from the tree of life. Nothing can be better. It can never be better. Something beautiful I heard yesterday from Rabbi Michael Maor, a gentleman, I'm sure you heard him already, that I look up to, from Betar Yerushalayim, from city in Yerushalayim that's called Betar. And the way he explained it, based on his teacher, Rabbi Avraham Brandwein, we hear it from his father, Rabbi Yehuda Tzvi Brandwein, we hear it from the Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag. What was the problem with the manna? Why would the Israelite complain about it? What's wrong with it? A perfect food, a consciousness food, meaning it's fall from heaven. You test it like an angel. It's called the food of an angel. You test the food, and by testing it, by thinking what you want to test, that's what it is. You can cook it, you can make it couscous, you can make it hummus, you can make it gefilte fish, kreipalach, whatever you want. That's what it becomes. Conscious food. What's the problem with that? It's a beautiful thing that I heard lately from Rabbi Michael Maor. What are we doing here? We are getting a chance to add something. You cannot add something when everything is perfect given to you by God. Example, without the golden calf, we're only going to have 5 books of Moses and Yoshua. That's the only books that we're going to have. Maybe Yoshua. We're not going to have Talmud Zohar. We don't need it, because everything is perfect. Without the sin of Eve with the snake, we will never have desire to have children, because the snake injected within it a desire to make love and then to have children. So we are developed through the negativity, which is tremendous revelation by Rabbi Michael Maor, who heard it all the way to Rav Ashlag. So everything going on here is about developing. Without the golden calf, we'll end up with 5 books of Moses only, no Talmud. I'm not saying go and do more negative. I'm talking about negativity that is happening in the past in the time of the Torah. The manna, you can add to it. You just receive a perfect product. The Israelite were worried that there's nothing we can do about it. Moses was happy because Moses was in high level. For him, that's a perfect universe. When the Creator gives you everything and you just connect. But Moses went to all the levels that he that's why his name is Moshe. Moshe is 3-column system, Mem, Shin, Ve'eh. 3-column system, it's all the balance. So he didn't have to go through the process of clarification of birurin, sifting. A regular human being has to go to the ups and downs. That's how it works. And by saying that, I want to take you into the Zohar. And I'm reading something. I wonder, maybe you can help me. I saw this section in a different Zohar, רבי אבא היה יושב, רבי אבא was sitting, רבי יוסי was with him, רבי חזקיה. אמר רבי יוסי, people are hard. And that the reason they are very hard, they have a heart of stone. Why? Because there is evil within the heart that control the body. And they bring in King Solomon, יש רעה אשר ראיתי תחת השמש. There is evil I saw under the sun. I saw that רעה before in different section in the Zohar. Fortunately, I don't have it here. And I think it's being cheap. In a different section, the Zohar say, רעה ראיתי תחת השמש, זה person who's קמצן, קמצנות. מחלה שנקראת קמצנות. קמצנות mean me stingy. If you think when you're stingy, you choose to be stingy, you're wrong. Stingy is something that comes as a disease. That if you don't shake it away, you have a big problem. I consider myself, בלי עין הרע, a lucky person. It doesn't matter what type of life I went through in my life, and I went through some toughness in my life. I found the right people in my life. If I needed a shirt, it was the person who gave me a shirt by the name of Tuvia. If I needed a suit, it was the name of a guy named Mario. If I needed a healer or a doctor to guide me and help me, it was Dr. Daniel. Wherever I go, it was a lawyer there. Everything was set for me. What do? My life has been blessing. Bli ayin hara. Hashem keep giving me blessing from every corner. I am worried. What did I do for that? The manna. I cannot do a lot with that. Why is the heart become like stone? As the Zohar. למה? למה זה קורה? משיב אשר ייתן לו אלוקים עושר ונכסים. You want to know when the heart becomes like stone? When you start receiving money, a lot of money. because זה קשה, it's hard. You know, in one way, God give you all the money, which is seem like a present. I mean, another place, the Talmud say, "Ani chashuv kamet." It says that the poor person considered like he died. So how can you say that that's not a gift? קשה. כיוון שכתוב ואיננו חסר לנפשו בכל אשר יתהווה, למה לא ישלטו לאלוקים לכל ממנו? Why is God preventing him to eat from whatever he gave him? He gave him everything. And then Elohim take away from him the ability to eat it? The verse doesn't make sense. And everybody understand, right? In one to say, one part to say God gave him everything, the other part to say God will make sure he cannot even eat from it. It doesn't make sense. הרי אינו חסר לנפשו כלום. So why would he eat? So we need to understand. אדם הולך בעולם הזה. הקדוש ברוך הוא נותן לו עושר. A person walk in this universe, God give him money. Why? So he will merit the world to come. How can you merit the world to come with money? Remember, stingy, dangerous. I met all stingy are the same. They have nothing in their life. They think they have a lot, but they have nothing. You need to learn how to invest the money here into the world to come. They will stay for eternity, where the soul is. It doesn't say it here, but when you give, when you share money, when you help more than your 10%, more than hosting people, do big thing. Take care of a wedding, take care of a book. משום שקרן הזה הוא עץ החיים. This is the tree of life. This charity is the tree of life. שלא נמצא ממנו בעולם הזה רק אותם הפירות. What you have in this universe, the money you have in this universe is just the fruit. The real roots is in העולם הבא. You want to make sure that roots is giving fruit in העולם הבא, give charity. לזכות בו בחיים עליונים. To merit the upper life. ומי שמטמא את עצמו, somebody who make himself not pure, unpure, and he only take care of his body, he doesn't give anything, and he doesn't have yirah and awe of what he has, then God will not let him eat it in the world to come. That's the meaning of the verse. So what happened with the manna? The people worry. They start thinking, how are we going to share? It's dangerous for us. They were humble. They didn't know they were in such an elevated level, like the angel. And they could receive that. That's why it say, it will not be like Dora Midbar till when Mashiach will come. We're judging them that there was sin. We're not even in that level. That's why we're not being tested like that. Every one of them. Even the sinner were in a higher level than us. Because when the manna came, manna is all sharing. For that reason, it says, Al totiru bo ad boker. Do not let it last till the morning. Why? Because you cannot think agenda what you're going to take from it. Share. Share. Same thing you do with your money. If your money has to do with you're going to take, then that money will not last to Olam Haba. That's our second subject today. Now I'm going to take you into something a bit deeper. I will skip here and there to make sure it's clear. I studied today with my 2 children, 2 sons. We know that there is a lot of time in the Torah, not a lot, few time in Torah, the things are not regular. Like in Pinchas, you have small Yud, broken Vav. In here, there is also a unique thing. It doesn't happen anywhere. The letter Nun, the way they write it in the scroll, is turning toward the parashah before, meaning it's turn around. And the second Nun is also turn around. And both of them turn around for different reasons. And that's what we're going to discuss right now. Rabbi Elazar Amar, the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, opened the discussion. Anun is turned around before Vayibin so Aaron. Velachareh. I hope my team will be able to make it happen. It's difficult. So you have to emphasize Vayibin so Aaron, it's a verse. Nun, before that, toward the beginning of the parashah, meaning toward Bereshit. And the second Nun, toward the verse Vayibin so Aaron. You have 2 Nunim. One Nun is facing the beginning of the Torah, and the second Nun also facing the beginning of the Torah, but it's facing the verse of Vayibin so Aaron. And the Vayibin so Aaron is in between them. Why? So first, the Nun, what does the Nun represent? The Nun represents the Shekhinah. And the Shekhinah was dwelling on the ark as they were traveling. אהבת הקדוש ברוך הוא לישראל, שהם שרו בדרך השם, הקדוש רוצה לעזור אותם. So Rabbi Elazar said, even the Israelites went off the derech, went off the path of spirituality, God doesn't want to leave them. בכל הזמן הוא מחזיר פנים עליהם. Every time they get off the derech, they get off the path of spirituality, God turned his face to them. שאם לא כן לא הייתה תקובה להם. If God will not turn his face, it will not chance for the Israelite to make it. בואו, come and behold. Aaron, the ark, was traveled through 3 ימים. 3 days. Do you care if it will be 3 days or 1.5 days or 4 days? What is that? הנון שהיא השכינה. The nun, which is the שכינה, לא הייתה נפרשת ממנו. will not ever leave him alone. מתוך אהבתם של ישראל, החזיר פניו לישראל. The love of the Israelite, make sure that the nun will turn to them. מסבבת את עצמה מן אהרון, the first nun. The first nun, take the shoulders of the nun back to the ark and looking at Israel in the verse before. כאותה איילה צעירה שהיא הולכת עם מחזרת פניה. Like a deer. Always you see in שיר השירים, they say דומה דודי לצבי. Our uncle, our beloved, which is God, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is like a tzvi, like a deer. What makes a deer very special? A deer is a very interesting animal. It ran away to the distance, but then it stopped, it turned the neck, and it looked back where it came from. Same way with God. ועל כן בזו אהרון הייתה נון מחזרת פניה, כלפי ישראל וכתפי גופה אל אהרון. The first nun, back to the ark, face to the Israelite. ועל כן שאהרון היה נוסע, אמר משה קומה השם. When the ark was start traveling, Moses say, raise God. שלא תעזוב אותנו. החזיר פניו אצלנו. ואז החזיר אהרון פניה אליהם, כן זה כמו שמחזיר פניו מי שאוהב אותו, שהתחיל אהרון לנוע. אז סיבב פניו בישראל, והחזיר פניו אל אהרון, ולגמרי החזירם. And then, the second noon is facing the ark, after it say Kuma, so like this, it will never leave. One noon is for the Israelite, one noon is to the ark, and everything is perfect. Of course, Baal HaSulam, Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, will not let this section just sit there like that. It's like the top chef, see potato and lamb and fish and pasta, and will let it sit. This is the ingredient for a kitchen. You need a master, like Baal HaSulam, Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag, Zecher Tzadik Levarcha, to take it, cook it for us, and arrange it for us. And that's what Baal HaSulam said. We need to know that the letter Nun is Nefila. Nun is Nofel, is falling. Meaning, when the Shekhinah in Galut, like now, Shekhinah is in Galut, the Shekhinah is Nofelet, it's falling. Why is it not falling? Well, we are not there yet. All of us. We teach spirituality, we practice spirituality, but we have whoop, and we crash. Galut. But it's our job. צריכים להקימים מנפלתה. We have to raise her from the falling. ואחר כך היא יכולה להזדווג עמו. And then, if we elevate the Shekhinah to the right place, she can have a union with Zeir Anpin. So every time it's falling, I'm going to go into small, deep details. It's meaning she loses Nahi. She loses Netzach Hod Yesod. Because that's the leg. Netzach Hod is like, boom. So it's a Koma Chasera, it's a show. That's what it means falling. What do you mean falling? You don't fall from your head, you fall from your leg. What do you mean standing? A full Koma, full capacity. The ark with the Luchot, with the tablet, is the male and the female. Zeir Anpin and Malchut. Before Vayibin saw Aaron, before that verse, the Malchut was not in union with Zeir Anpin. The female was not in union with the male. Why? Because it was no light of wisdom. How do you reveal light of wisdom? How do you reveal the essence of the light of God? ונודע שאין גילוי החוכמה אלא בשעת נסיעה. Only when traveling. ויבין סוע אהרון. When it's travel. שהוא נסיעת ג' קווים. Which is the three-column system, חסד גבוה תפארת, or right, left and center. Or 3 days, I think it says שלושת ימים. Then Moshe Rabbeinu said, קומה, rise. כי אז נגלה הרת החוכמה. Now Nun can be connected to the Kuma. Nahi standing, it's all Kuma Shlema. That's called light of wisdom. When the completion of the traveling happened, what Moshe said, Shuva Hashem. עכשיו נפסק הרת החוכמה. Now it's Chasadim. That's why it say, Latur laem menucha. To wander for a rest. Rest doesn't mean like rest physically. Rest means when you rest emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That's a true rest. So for the ark, to make union between Zeir Anpin and Malchut, you have to go through 3 days to get the light of wisdom. And then you can rest and have light of mercy. Light of mercy is what manifests the light of wisdom. If you only have light of wisdom, it's like have electricity, but nobody yet revealed it. Meaning it's there, but you need a copper wire, you need something. That's a light of wisdom. Light of mercy is the revelation of light of wisdom. So the Israelite could not receive that menucha from Zon, from Zachar v'Nekeva. So it have to go through a process of light of wisdom, light of mercy, and then it shine to them. So when the Nun put her back to the ark and face the Israelite, שפורשת עצמה מבחינת זעיר אנפין, ודומה כמו שחזירה אליו אחוריה, מה שאומר משל האלה, and here I'm reading what Rav Ashlag writes, כי בזמן הנסיעה, in time of traveling, מקבלת חוכמה, receiving light of wisdom, which is traveling. שהיא פניה, which is the face of מלכות. What is מלכות? What is the purpose of מלכות? To receive all the light. All the light. What is all the חוכמה? Everything. ופנים האלו בהשפעת ישראל. She want to affect the Israelite with that type of light. כיוון שזעיר אנפין היה מבחינת חסדים, but what about זעיר אנפין? The husband. Is חסדים מכוסים. Is חסדים מכוסים. He is now back to זעיר אנפין. She is revealing light of wisdom. זעיר אנפין revealing חסדים מכוסים, light of mercy. They don't fit yet. So back to back. But she is affecting the Israelite, the first noon, with light of wisdom. So they will receive later the light of mercy that bring menucha, to rest. How rest happen? When you have the female and the male union. When you have the other noon is basically facing now the ark, and that's called union. The first noon is not a union. It's back to back, but it's facing the Israelite. The second noon, it is union with the ark, which is the rampin, and that's called menucha. There's an interesting part now. Amar Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon get involved. Here his son, Elazar. He said to him, Elazar. Call him by his name, not by Rabbi. Elazar. בוודאי ככה. It is true what you say. שצריכים להיות כאן בית נונים. בית נונים have to be turned around. One before, one after. אבל כאן, לאחר ויהי בנסוע, after ויהי בנסוע, after the verse, לא החזירה המלכות פניה מישראל. The מלכות, the noon, didn't turn its face away from the Israelite. כלומר שלא הפסיקה השפעתה מישראל, כמו שאמר רבי אלעזר. So I disagree. The מלכות stop to influence the Israel because now she's with זעיר אנפין. ואם כן, הייתה נון הזו כתובה צריך להיות בהיפוך. Then this noon not only going to be turned around, it will be upside down as well. Which some Torah, by the way, in the world has it. Some Torah in the world has it. נון אחרת עליה שהיא יסוד מלכות. אלא ודאי הוא, זה רבי שמעון אופיניון, שהמלכות לא החזירה פניה מישראל. המלכות never turned its face away from the Israelite. מה עשתה בשעה שצריכה לנוח? When the ark rests, when it says שובה, אז אמר משה, שובה השם, דהיינו שתפסיק מערת החוכמה. שובה השם, זה רבי שמעון, או רב אשלג, explain רבי שמעון, stop the light of wisdom, and come back to light of mercy of זעיר אנפין. That's menucha. That's rest. How do you rest? You have an idea. That's light of wisdom. If you don't manifest the idea, you never rest. When you manifest the idea and everybody like it, that's light of mercy. Those are two forces. Rabbi Shimon has revealed the secret. He say like this. The reason the second noon turn around, if you look at the verse after, I don't know if you can see the verse after, what happened. ויהי העם כמתאוננים. The people start to complain. לפיכך כתוב, הפוכה בין ויהי בנסוע לבין פרשת ויהי העם כמתאוננים. The noon which is Shekhinah is back to that section, it's almost like not existent for the Shekhinah. So Rabbi Shimon is not disagree with Rabbi Lazar, he just disagree with the reasoning. My friend, what did we get this week? What did we get? We get Behaalotecha Nerot from the Rabash, understanding the 7 candelabra. We understand that the man is about sharing, so if you're born rich or so smart, you have to think sharing. And third is we understand Vayibin Soaron, the 2 nunim, to understand, the opinion of Rabbi Lazar is there is two Nunim. One Nun is facing the Israelite, is with the light of wisdom. And then after that, the second Nun is facing the ark with the light of mercy. Different opinion, Rabbi Shimon said the second Nun is not facing the Israelite because of the verse that come after, that it seems we did something negative. This week is a very important week, Behaalotecha. We all need to elevate ourselves. Don't hate yourself this week. Don't let the negativity make you look smaller. Now more than ever, since 1922, we are in 2022. Rav Ashlag had the prophecy that in 100 years after he died, 100 years after the revelation, it will be people in 2022 that would want to teach his knowledge and to spread it. Join my wife, me, us, vital, to spread as much as knowledge as we can from Bala Sulam, from Rabbi Yehuda Ashlag. Please help us, direct us, shape us, correct us, make us do a better job so we can spread this wisdom all over the world. Thank you and have a great week. All the best.